Good evening, and thank you all for being here. Throughout the United States, demonstrations sparked by the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery have brought renewed focus to Confederate statues, symbols of an era that no longer represent the aspirations of our country. It was Robert E. Lee's view that statues commemorating the Confederacy keep open the sores of war. In August of 2017, in recognition of the violent protests surrounding the Charlottesville statue depicting Robert E. Lee, Norfolk City Council unanimously passed a resolution expressing our desire to take down the statue here in Norfolk from its prominent location at Commercial Place and place it in Elmwood Cemetery among the graves of Confederate soldiers. And today, the Virginia Division of the Sons of the Confederate Veterans do not oppose our actions. Legislation passed during the 2020 session of the Virginia General Assembly provided us the right to fulfill our promise to take down this symbol that has grown to offend and become a source of divisiveness. Given recent events in Portsmouth, and out of an abundance of caution, we are taking down the statue in the next 24 hours, if weather permits. Our prayers are with the city of Portsmouth, and our prayers are with the young man who was seriously injured last night. Our city cannot ensure the safety of people and property if there's an attempt to pull down this statue. We must understand that overturning statues is easy, but the hard work of overturning generations of hate, inequality, and injustice remains ahead of all of us. And addressing the massive impact of Norfolk's own legacy of racism will require all of us to work together. Again, let's keep engaging one another. Let's remain in peaceful dialogue with one another. And let's keep learning from one another. May God bless you, and may God bless the city of Norfolk. Dr. Filer is here to address any questions that you may have. Again, thank you for being here. Dr. Filer.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions?
What is the process going to be like when taking down the monument?
Yeah, so obviously we've been making plans for this. We were anticipating the day when we would do this in next couple of months. So the process that's going to play out this evening is we're going to be closing the roads that come across by the statue later this evening so that we can start moving in some heavy equipment. I think obviously the weather is going to play a role tonight. So as soon as it's physically possible and safe for our contractors to get up there, our plan is to remove the actual statue off the top of the column this evening and take it into safe storage, and then come back over the next several weeks to try and remove the multiple pieces of the monument, of the part of the column that would remain.
Did Portsmouth, is going to happen in Portsmouth, give any ignition to expedite this removal?
Yeah, thank you. Again, the events in Portsmouth certainly has caused us to re-examine our timetable. Out of abundance of caution, we decided to move quickly to take down the monument in the next 24 hours. We cannot ensure the safety of property and people around this monument if there's an attempt to take it down by individuals.
Mayor, speaking of timetables, I know it was scheduled for a meeting July 7th to actually discuss and figure out the removal. Legally, will the city be responsible? Is there any trouble the city can be in with the state for this 24-hour removal?
I think out of the abundance of caution and what we all experienced last night in Portsmouth, a young man was seriously injured. And I think public safety prevails, and Trump's waiting 30 more days until the law comes in effect. It's more of a procedure matter than actually a policy matter. The General Assembly has already passed a policy. The timetable is more procedure.
Any ideas on what's going to be replaced, or are you just going to leave it as a street, or is it going to be open?
No, we have not had that conversation yet, but certainly we look forward to that conversation with citizens and of course corporate citizens, and of course our city planning to help, and the administration will help guide the council and what would probably go there.
And just to clarify, the statue on top of the monument, that's what's going to come down in
First.
the next 24
First.
hours, and the actual stone obelisk itself will take about 3 more weeks.
Well, I mean, it depends a bit. I mean, what's going to happen within the next 24 hours is the statue.
Okay.
As it was even on our timetable prior to us accelerating that timetable, it was going to take several weeks to dismantle the whole monument. It is logistically quite a challenge. It's a very large monument.
Does it come down in one piece?
It does not.
Okay.
Do you have any details of the specific statue, like name, year? Are there any details and specs of it?
The history of it is a little bit unclear. We believe it was erected sometime in the early 1900s, late 1800s, and it is the actual image that's up there. The individual is a nondescript soldier that actually we have been told in the past was a soldier that represented both sides of the war, in fact, and then whichever flag the individual held was the whether it represented North or South. Yeah.
Mayor, I just wanted to ask you real quick. You know, there are obviously plenty of people who feel this is removing history. Others, this is a painful reminder of the past. What message do you want to send to both of those people?
Well, certainly we work directly with the Virginia Division of Sons of Confederate Veterans, and they have penned a letter that Lori will share with you, supporting our actions and taking the statue down from this place and moving it to Elmwood Cemetery, where it would be with other Confederate monuments and where there are graves of Confederate soldiers.
Any last words just to the community? I mean, this action is for people who've been protesting, it's a big action. It's showing that kind of are moving forward. Any last words? And
Well, thank you for the question. Certainly Norfolk is very proud of our citizens, our corporate citizens, our residents, those who have protested, those who have demonstrated. We have not had the loss to property and life and the vandalism and the violence that other cities around the country have experienced, and that's the resolve of our people, working together, conversing together. This council passed a resolution back in August expressing our desire to move the statue, take it down. However, because of the legalities surrounding removing the statue prohibited us from doing it at that time. However, the General Assembly passed legislation, and we sent a resolution to the General Assembly expressing our desire to move it much earlier. However, the General Assembly just recently passed that legislation. That legislation goes in effect July 1. However, because of the incidents that are happening around the country, and more importantly, what we experience in Portsmouth, has accelerated our timetable. And again, under the abundance of caution, we're making this move immediately.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.